about how the people of the particular region felt about Americans coming to their land for pleasure and sometimes profit. Rob wanted to see with his own eyes what he read about. In his preparation for a trip, he did a lot of reading and researching. He soaked in everything that he had read about the two. His own research and then the reality became one. He read about these majestic glaciers, but it changed his whole concept when he actually experienced it. Robert would come back and talk about his travels and new knowledge with everyone he could. Robert went on a lot of excursions into the important places in the country or culture where he was. He always went to see everything. He walked the Great Wall when he went to China. He went ziplining, skydiving, ballooning, snorkeling, swimming with sharks, holding baby alligators, and so much more. He really loved the adventure of travel. His trip to Egypt was on Rob's bucket list because his father had also visited there. He said that it was a way for him to connect with his father. Robert paid homage to his father's travels by posting a side to side picture of his father in Egypt alongside a photo of himself there decades later, almost the same place where his dad stood. Rob was also a member of a Facebook Black travel group and enjoyed seeing where other Black folks had traveled. He got a kick out of exchanging information and seeing us out there doing our thing. Rob was very easy to travel with, in a good way. He knew his limitations. In recent travels, he worked so much. He would get to where he was going and sleep for 24 hours. He didn't use that to stop you from doing what you wanted to do. He may not have been able to do something physically challenging to the best of him to experience it, but he would do it. The freedom to enjoy a trip in a way that both people would be satisfied. Room for change. He was scheduled to go to Venice, Singapore, Bali, and Hong Kong in August before COVID-19 changed the ability to travel. Tia had planned to take him to various Michelin starred restaurants, and he was willing to learn and try. Although he had a lifelong struggle with diabetes, Rob loved good food. He was a connoisseur of classic American comfort food. One of his other side hustles was an assistant chef alongside his friend Jeffrey Jeff Fells. Robert was known as the lasagna man and sold homemade lasagnas for $45 to $50 per tray. He was he also made Robert's famous strawberry cake and entered it into various competitions and sold at local fairs. The family would like to thank Tia Broadway and family for her love and care during this time. Condolences may be sent to Tia Broadway at Broadway 1104, BROADWAY 1104 at gmail.com.
So everyone, I'm sure as we all listen to this, I cried, but I also laughed too because there were just some things that were just so wild. But I hope we all have some food and some drink because that is the formal part of our memorial. And what I would like for us to do now is to sit back and chill and just share some stories and some laughter. Just remember some good times and just celebrate my brother, your cousin, your son, your best friend, whoever Rob was to you. Let's just take this time to celebrate. But you know you're gonna need some food to do it. So so over here in the Broadway Micklejohn household, my daughter Hallie prepared her a vegetarian version of lasagna um, and strawberry cake. So I'm not
Ooh.
sure what everybody else has going on. And I'll start with this little story. I don't know if anybody knows this, but the whole lasagna thing started when, oh my gosh, I was in college and me, Rob, and a girlfriend used to get together and cook food. And this one particular girlfriend was very out there. Everybody got that girlfriend who, was eating kale before kale was a thing. You know what I mean? So this was her back in the day. She was making all this crazy stuff. But one day we said we were all gonna make lasagna and we were going to try it and critique each other on it. So we all made these different lasagnas and, you know, she had some crazy stuff in hers, and we were like, oh, this is no good. But from there, Rob literally kept making that lasagna. Like he kept making it, he kept perfecting it. Every time we would get together, he added something. He made spicy lasagna. He made lasagna with sausage in it. Um, lasagna with all these. It was always gonna be some meat. It was always gonna be like 5 pounds of hamburger in there. And it might be about 4 diced up mushrooms too. But that was, that when I think of lasagna, that's what I think of. I think of like this how the lasagna just transitioned into the fact that he started selling it, and whoever bought his lasagna for $45 or $50, you gotta steal, because I know it cost him more than that to make it. He put like 10 pounds of cheese, 4 packs of noodles, 5 pounds of hamburger. But for him, it was not about the money; it was about people enjoying his food. He always, I know it always cost him more to make the meal than what he charged for. And that lasagna, if you could eat a whole piece, you was doing something. Because it was like this thick